Hi everyone, thank you for joining me in my latest video today. I want to thank everyone that put comments in the post to my last video, which was a haul, and in the haul was this one, and I asked people to comment on what colouring page they would like to see or what colouring book they'd like to see, and overwhelmingly people said no, we're not sick of Halloween, we want more Halloween, so I'm more than happy to give you Halloween. Pan pastels, just noticed what it looks like on camera. Pan pastels, jelly roll, what a mess I am. Anyway, so before I show you the page, the supplies that I've chosen today are Prismacolor Premier pencils. So we're going to be using, let's just get, I'm just going to try and find one that will show up really easy on camera, that's not a stub. We're going to be using Prismacolor Premier pencils, and we're going to be using, these are the Artex alcohol markers. Please don't panic if you don't have them. It will be completely possible to do the page without them. So here are the beautiful colours. I really like them because these are a pastel set, but they're a brush tip and a chisel tip. Really nice markers. So you get a gorgeous brush tip. It works really well. I'm not usually very good with brush tips, but they hold the shape, they're not too flexible. And then there's the chisel tip. So don't panic if you don't have the alcohol markers, because I always choose my colours to match the base layer of the alcohol markers. So I just use it as a quick and easy way to for us to lay a base. So, okay. Nice Little Town, Halloween in Witch Town. This is by Tatiana, Bogema. A gorgeous, gorgeous colouring book. And I selected, you probably have guessed by my flip through which kind of one it was going to be, this little lady and her skeleton friend. Now, we're going to do a base on some of the picture, not all of it, some of the picture. And then I've got a really funky idea for the background with pastels. Well, I'm going to use pan pastels, but you can always use normal pastels and some pencil work just to, I don't know, add a little bit of difference to it. So what I'm going to do, now we've chosen our page, or I've chosen the page, I'm going to go away, I'm going to get completely organised, clear my desk totally off so that I'm not so dizzy as I normally am. So if you'll allow me 2 seconds, I'll be back shortly. Thank you guys. Okay, I've set up and I've got it all out by the side of me with all the little colour tickets and everything ready to go. I've got a plastic sheet behind to stop any alcohol markers going through. Okay, where should we start? Let's start with the skin and the bones. So, if we come in, can we focus on our little skeleton dude? So, I have got 411. Now, if I get the... little text ticket out, 411 is light wheat. So, I'm going in with the brush tip, folks. Yeah, so here they are. Artex Oris. There we go. And the brush tip, if I can get the brush tip, is magnificent. Okay. So, light wheat. We are going to cover our little skeleton dude. He looks pretty fed up to me. Poor little guy. He's fed up of holding that umbrella for our cute little witch. Okay, there we go. Oh, and his bottom jaw. There we go. And we're going to do her face. So I recently brought the touch markers, these ones, and they are fabulous, but they are, I didn't buy bullet tips, I didn't buy brush tips because my hands are very shaky, but these Artex ones are such a dream to work with because that brush isn't so flexible that, can you see everything I'm doing? You know, sometimes you get those brush tips and they've got wispy bits sticking off of them, and they're too long and flexible. I've got a bit of ink that's just come through there. Oh, damn it. Let me swap. I'm going to swap. I'm going to get a wad of paper, folks. I hadn't cleaned off my mat, and I've obviously got something there. I'll leave it, let it dry. So, all the little bones, so on his little fingers. So I'm not going to make the mistake I've made in the last video, which was to do my background first. Now, if I was just using all pencils, I would, but I can't guarantee that it was I think it was the baby wipe that I'd used, so it made it hard to colour with. Like, put an oil slick down on the page and the pencils just wouldn't go over it. I had to do an emergency repair on camera. So I'm going to do the background last. But I'm really quite excited about doing the background. It looks pretty cool. It's simple, it's not anything spectacular, but you know, simple things, people, simple things. Okay, any more? No, I think that's it. So, that's our 411, and we're going to go in now with seashell pink, and that's what we're going to do our shading for our bones in. So, I'm going to do under his eyes, and it's a really good match for this colour. I'm going to come round where his little teeth sockets are, and then round the edge of his face. And this is just Amazon print paper, so I do find that a gentle approach with softer pencils works really well. So I'm just blending that into that lovely marker base, and we will just have some nicely shaded little bones. Nothing too fancy, but quite effective. Let's get his little fingers done. And a little vertebrae round here. Now, I hope you'll be impressed with me today. I've tried to be as organised as I possibly can, so I'm not searching for things all the time. But we will see, folks, as the video goes on, we will see. So, part of fibromyalgia, which I suffer with, is obviously extreme tiredness, but also quite a lot of the time you get a feeling like you're going to be ill, like you're going to get a cold or something. I'm just going over that, hoping that I can cover over that pink ink, whatever that was. It's no major disaster if it won't, because we're going to use pencil. Yeah, so I was going to go out with my mum and dad because it's half term. And I woke up this morning and I thought, oh gosh, I feel really poorly. I feel like I've got the most horrendous cold coming. And so at 11 o'clock today I had to go back to bed because I felt so poorly. And I'm just sharpening the next set of pencils. Guess what time I woke up, folks? I was aware, you know, I was in bed and I was aware that I was getting hot and then cold, hot and then cold, and had to put keep pulling the blanket on and off, but that was as far as it went. That was my only recollection of the day. And I woke up at 5 o'clock this evening, folks. So I've had paracetamol and I'm feeling a bit better. So I thought we would do this together. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. We're going to do her little face. So I've done the bones. Easy as that. I'm going to use Deco Peach now for this little lady's face. So I'm going to bring all that round her nose. And I'm going to leave round her eyes for a minute. I'm going to leave that. Oh, that's done all right there. We're going to come up round her arm. This is Deco Peach. Yeah. I'm going to let that dry a little bit longer. Okay, so I've got Deco Peach. Now I'm going to put the tiniest bit of burnt umber in. Just round these gorgeous little bits of freckles, round the bridge of her nose. And then into her cheeks. Just like that. Then I'm going to go over that with Deco Pink. That tones it down. Isn't she cute? We'll put a little bit of that in there. And then we'll go back with our Deco Peach. Okay, I think there we go. There we go. Okay, let's do the same on our arms. So, we've got Deco Peach up here. I'm going to tiny bit, I mean really light bit of burnt umber. Just where I want some shadowing. And then back in with our Deco Peach. And then we can just leave the bits where the alcohol marker went where we want the lighter parts. We'll do the same on this arm. Actually, I need the peach, don't I, for that? So, yeah, so I'm just leaving a very pale bit of where the alcohol marker was, which was, what colour did we say it was? Light wheat. It's a really nice skin colour. Then our burnt umber. I know I've gone over a bit there, but it's okay. Better that than that bright pink that was poking through. That could have been disastrous, people. Note to self, clean off my plastic mat. Okay, then back in with our Deco Peach. And smoosh that in together. There we go. Alright, now a little bit of white. I'm going to make sure the tip's clean. So a little bit of white, and I'm just going to just knock back some of that colour there. There we go. And the Prismas, well, any colour, any kind of pencil I would have thought, but the Prismas just work so nice over the top of alcohol markers. So if you've put a colour on and it's too dark, You can pick a lighter colour and it's just gone. Right, skin's done. Easy as that. Okay, let me move those to one side. Right, next, let's do her dress. So if I move my next little ticket over, you can see how organised I am, people. What is going on? Right, so I'll try and get it so you can see. So the dress we're going to use is 410, and that is wisteria. I'm going to get the brush end. I always pick the wrong one. Is there a difference? No, it does show you, but there isn't a difference. Okay, so we're going to go in with the 410, which is wisteria. I hope you don't mind watching while I do alcohol markers. It does tend to make me go very quiet so that I'm concentrating that I don't let that bleed out over the edge. So I tend to just sort of leave a bit of a margin and then let the alcohol soak up to the edge. There we go. And on this frilly bit of a skirt, so on this, so it's like a dress. And then we'll do the netting a different colour. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to tell you about, or talk to you about, was the fact that I made 8,000 subscribers. Me! Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. 8,000 subscribers. Well, I think it's 8,050 now, I think. What the heck? I never thought that would be possible. Mainly because I'm so negative about myself. I have very low self-esteem, but not as much as I did when I first started the channel, that's for sure. I was really hard on myself, and having you lot behind me has really sort of boosted my confidence. And just learning as you go along the way boosts your confidence as well, doesn't it? You know, when I started my channel, I think I'd only been colouring 5 or 6 months, I think, if I'm correct. And I just needed to share the joy of colouring with everyone. Oh my goodness, what a journey that's been. So it's been 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. It was 2 years in March that the channel's been alive and kicking. There we go. She's got a little wisteria dress. Now, while we let that dry, I'm going to do her hat in blue. So I have got 401, which is pure azure, and it's a very beautiful pale blue. So we just let that dry before we do any any colouring on her. Let's move the page over. There we go. So blue azure. Yeah, I wish, gosh, I do chop and change with my subjects, don't I? But I wish that if all alcohol marker tips are like this, I wish I'd have got the brush tips in my touch markers, but it's okay. Yeah, I really like working with these. Okay, now we need a stripe, so that one's not going to be there, so we're going to do blue stripe here. And here, this is tricky. And here. Now I'm not going to worry too much if I'd rather leave blank spaces than let it bleed over the edge, so because we're using pencil over the top. Oh, that's a tricky bit. Okay, right. Let me put that to one side for a minute. And we're going to go back to our dress. Now should be dry. So we're going to take lilac. Just going to sharpen my lilac. And grey lavender. I'm going to try and sharpen this. It's on a pencil extender and it's very tiny. Here we go. Let's put that back in. Okay, we're ready now. Taking off the dressing gown. Got a hot. I'm going hot, then I'm going cold. Okay, right. Let's focus on a dress. Let's start with this beautiful frilly bit, shall we? So this is underneath, so I'm going to make that lilac. And then I'm going to follow these lines with the creases in her dress. I'm just lightly putting them in. Behind here. The stars will do in entirely a different colour. Nice, something nice and sparkly. She's too cute to be a mean witch. Look at her. Yeah, she's just too cute. Right, let's bring up a little bit of a crease here. And we'll have a bit darker there. And up there. Okay, let's bring in the grey lavender. And we'll push that into that beautiful wisteria colour. So we kind of get the three tones with half the effort. Let me see. Let's give her a bit of a brush off. Right, now we're going to go back in with the lilac and just darken that up. There we go. So it's been half term this week, so you can guarantee that, God, I'm very negative today, you can guarantee that I'm going to be ill during half term. So my baby grandson, I call him my baby grandson, he's 5 now, but he came to visit last Friday and they popped in on Monday morning, if I'm correct, and he's had the most horrendous cold, poor little thing. So sorry, put my drink in front of you. A face full of Diet Coke. So you can more or less guarantee that I was going to get it. I don't know what my point was. Oh, there always being half term when I'm ill, or the holiday. And I think that's because you like keep going, don't you, when you're at work, and you fight as much as you can with these things. But as soon as you stop, it's like your body's like, oh, thank God, I'll just collapse in a heap and I'll get everything that's going. Okay. So we've got one little puffy sleeve. We can add some white to this too, if you've gone too dark anywhere. I quite like that. But we could add a little bit of white up here. There we go. Cute. There we are. So, little lilac dress, that's how I'm going to do her. And, oh, let's see. Right, the blue, let's have a look at that. Move that there for a minute. Let's have a look at the blues. So for the hat, here's the hat. I'm moving her over so you can see. So I've got slate grey, blue slate and powder blue. So I'm going to use the slate grey to give us some shadow. So I'm going to go round her hat like that, dark around there, and then let it fade out. So it looks like the brim of her hat is behind. Okay. I'm not pressing hard on any of this. I'm just softly putting it down, and then I'll go back in if I want to deepen up the layers. There we go. Let's bring that out a little further. There we are. Right, now we're going to go in with blue slate. Can you see that? Blue slate. Let's move down a bit. And then I'm going right over that slate, grey slate. And I'm going to bring this blue slate out. So what we should end up with is a nice shadow, a nice shadowed area in the blue. Gosh, it looks really bright on camera. I love colouring with alcohol markers like this, putting the base down and then going over with pencils. It really helps me take the anxiety out of ruining a page or a book, because there's already colour there. And also you don't have to, if you suffer with hand pain, wrist pain or any kind like that, you don't have to work so hard to cover the tooth of the paper, it's already done for you. Now we're just going to go in and blend in some powder blue, which is a perfect match for that pale azure. And this is why I said don't worry if you don't have the alcohol markers, because you can do it without. But yeah, it as I was saying, it takes out the hard work as well from blending, because you've already got that tooth of the paper is already covered. But there, we've got, what can you say? Well, my screen almost looks like she's fluorescent. No, she's not. Okay, right, So the edge of the hat, we're going with the slate grey just a little bit on each side. Just a little bit. Then we'll take the blue slate, go over all of that. Don't come too far in. And this way we should help to make our hat look rounded rather than just flat. Then we go in with our powder blue. And we do our magic smush. There we go. Just going to go back in a little bit with that blue slate. There we are. And then these bits are going to be the purple, so we'll go in with lilac. And then the grey lavender, just to show you that actually if you don't have the alcohol markers the page will still work the same. There we go, back in with the lavender. And if that's a little bit dark, we can just put a tiny bit of white in that centre bit. And then go back in with our greyed lavender. There we go. One cute little witch. Alright, now this bit under here, her skirt, should be that same blue in the alcohol marker. So I'm just going to do that. So that very pale blue. She's very coordinated, see, our little witch. She's thought long and hard about her outfit. I know, folks, I lost the plot years ago, it's no good telling me. Alright, there we are. So, before we get too complicated in everything, I'm going to come back out a little bit so we can see our witch. And I'm just going to put the cards there for a second. There for a second so you can actually see and let you have a shot of that. And then I'm just going to go off, finish the hat and her dress. And this little blue bit under here, which I've missed. All the skirt round here. And then we'll meet back up. Alright my lovelies, I'll see you in a second. Okay, little witch dress and hat is done. I think she looks really cute. Right, let's inject some pumpkin colour, shall we? So I'm thinking 2 oranges and maybe a green in here. And the reason I'm going to do that is because all these bushes will obviously be green. So let's start with our orange pumpkins, shall we? So we're going to do this one and this one in orange. So let's do the biggest one in the hope that you can see it clearly. So I've got 421, which is mango. We'll come in just a tad. So I've got my mango marker and we're going to switch sides and use the chisel tip. Move that out my way for a minute while I'm concentrating. Going back to my brush tip. Okay, one orange pumpkin. Let's do the other one while that one dries. And then we're going to have a green one, I think. Well, that was the plan, but there's going to be quite a lot of greens, but oh, we'll cope, people, we'll cope. Okay, orange pumpkins. And that was with 41. And we're going to bring in 423, which is milk green for this pumpkin. And oh look, I've missed a bit of orange pumpkin there. Just carefully fill that in. There we go. Excuse me, coughing in your ear. I love this milk green, it's beautiful. And we're just going to fill this one in. Carefully round our little boots. There we are. Oh, and I've missed that side of that pumpkin. Doing well. Doing well, folks. There we are. 2 orange, 1 green pumpkin. Okay, I'm going to put that back there so that I don't get all muddled. Right, let's go back to our big orange pumpkin. So I've got cadmium orange hue. We're going to move the page over so you can see. It's really difficult when you're zoomed in to get. There we go. So I've got cadmium orange hue. We're going to start here. I don't know that that's dry enough. Right. Make sure your alcohol ink is dry before you start colouring over it. So this is our cadmium orange hue. I'm going to go in all these little joints. Bring out that colour. Down here. Bring out that colour. There we go. And here's another one. And around the base. Like that. Bring that down a bit. Okay, then we're switching to yellow ochre. I know that sounds a bit odd, but it works, it really does. Okay, and it matches really well with the alcohol marker we've put down. So we can go over our orange. We'll put some more orange in a minute. Matches really well with the mango. We don't want to obliterate after all the alcohol marker. So now we're using a canary yellow, excuse me, and that is going to give us a really bright shock of yellow in that pumpkin. Right, and then we're going to go back to our cadmium orange hue, and I'm going to pull that out so that it blends in better. And then go back in with our yellow ochre. Do some smushing. And there we have it. I'll play with the blending. You do have to be quite patient with Amazon paper. But once you've kind of got a wax base from your Prismas down, it behaves much better. Okay, so that's how we're doing the orange pumpkins. Let's do our green pumpkin. Right, here's our green one. So I need kelp green. Bear with me a second because I'm using them for different things. Nope. Nope. Where have I put that then? Ah, is this it? See, I told you I'd be organised. Yeah, right, I've got it. So kelp green, celadon green and cream. Okay, so with the kelp green, we're going to do exactly the same as we did with our orange pumpkin. We're going to go in and give it some dark around that base. And these bits are going to cover up those black sketchy lines. Okay, then we're going to go in with celadon green. So we're going to go over that and blend that. Like this. Leave some of that milk green showing, and then we're going to put some cream in. So I'm going to put a bit of cream around there. There we go. Back in with the celadon. And that we can use to help blend. And then a bit more cream. Okay, we'll do another section here. So I'm going to bring this out quite lightly. Bring that down, darker at the base. I'll have a bit of dark in there, why not? So I'm following the black lines because we can cover those up with this kelp green. And then in with our celadon, and I'm going to follow where I've put the kelp green and bring that in. And then we can go over with the cream. Okay, back in with celadon. We've got a green pumpkin. What do you think? Excuse me. I think this cold's going to take over that I was talking about earlier, so I want to get this done so that I don't miss Halloween altogether. Alright, there we go. So, little project for you. Go off and we're going to do our pumpkins in those colours. And then I'll meet you back when they're done. Alright folks, see you in a sec. Okay, so I've done the pumpkins. I think they look really cool. And to save us time, I've coated the pockets in the same blue we did as the hat and the dress, and the orange we used for the pumpkin, and I've done his little pumpkin around his neck in the green. Now, before I can plan things like her little bag and other details, I want to get the soil, the stones, the the bushes and the corn done, and then we can tie it all together. So I'm going to look at the soil and the stones next. So we're going to come in and I'm going to make this predominantly soil with just a few tufts of grass coming out. That's my theory. So I'm going to take light umber and I'm going to shade around the pumpkin. I'm just going to do it lightly so that I can add colour to it. And then I'll go over, this is where I could do with some fine liners, and I don't have them because I don't think I'd use them that much, I don't know. Okay, we're going to go round the stones for a little bit of shadow. Don't forget we can always go back in, but it's more difficult to take colour away once you've placed it. So this is how we're doing it. Give it some shadow around her shoes. And then the page should be easier once I've done this bit to tie everything together, choose the right colours. I mean, I have practiced, but I wanted a little bag to be green, but I think it might be too green then with the bushes and stuff behind, so I'll have to rethink that. Okay. Just take your time. Put some soil under each of these little tufts of grass. Kind of let that fade out round the base because I'm not colouring all the way down here. I'm just going to deepen that up. Just going to let it sort of fade out, I suppose. Okay, let's just deepen up those areas. Okay, then we're going to go in with 50% French grey. Now I've chosen grey because, well, the French grey, because that's got a brown hue to it. It's warmer, but it will also give us a sort of gravelly, soily patch. I don't know, but that's what I chose. Anyway, so we're going to go in with the French grey and we're going over that lovely light umber. I'm going to bring that out a bit. There we go. That'll deepen that up and lend us into another lighter colour. But we still keep that nice light umber colour. So I'm just following all the places that I put the light umber down and just bringing that out with that grey. We are going to put some grass tufts in, so don't worry if you're thinking, what the heck are you doing, Lucy? Alright, then we're going to go in with 30% French grey, and again we're going to follow where we've been and bring that out. Now I'm not sure that we'll need the 10%, So I think this might be enough to blend it. And we don't want to lose, don't want to oversaturate the colour and lose that nice light umber that we've got. So here in the UK it is currently 8:30 in the morning, and it is a damp, dreary, miserable day, but there's something so cosy, I think, about the rain on the windows, not having to go anywhere, the rain on the windows, colouring, I've got my cup of tea, I'm talking to my friends, yeah, and there's something so cosy and comforting about that, I think. Am I weird, or do you people like that too? Do you guys like when you haven't got to go anywhere and the weather's bad outside? Like when it's snowing, if you've got to go somewhere, it's a complete pain in the behind. But to be at home and watch it, or sit cosy with a film, or... Just going to bring that out. Yeah, I love it. I feel safe and warm and cosy. Oh, it's just lovely. Okay, so let's go back in with our light umber just to deepen up some areas. Like we've lost a little bit of definition where I put in the shadow from her shoes. So we'll put that back in around his shoes. But I think it's going to look okay. What do you think? One little soily pumpkin patch. We don't need the 10%, I don't think. I'm not going to put that in. So I'm going to move those to one side and we're going to look at the stones. So quite simply, now I've put trousers here. I'm not sure yet. Like I said, this is why I'm doing this bit. It definitely will be for the bats on the umbrella and the Spidey. But, so we've got 70% cool grey and 30% cool grey for our stones. And starting with 70%, I am going to move you over. I'm just going to go round the edge of our stone. And then start bringing it out lightly. And I've chosen the cool greys just because it will contrast nicely against those earthy tones of the French grey. And then we do some smushing. There we are. Let's do, and that could have been a puddle, but I didn't think of that, never mind. Let's do this one. Okay, I think you've got the gist of the light and dark grey. That's how I'm going to do all the little stones. I hope you could see that. Okay, let's move that to one side. Now, if we look at the corn itself, let's do that. So, I'm just going to have two simple colours. We're going to have olive green and we're going to have sap green light. And that's it. So I'm just going to sharpen it because we've got some fine bits to get into. Alright, now I'm going to pick one side to do the olive green down, so I'm going to go on this side. Beautiful colour, and I'm just going to bring that out like we normally do, and then blend with the sap green, just so we get one side's a little lighter. So under these bits where they fold over, just checking you can see everything, I'm going in with the olive green. Bringing that out. And then just a tiny bit here of the sap green. So what it will do is keep that nice dark green, olivey green colour. Then you can just vary how much sap green you put in, and we'll get, let's do round this bit, you'll get variation of tone then. Okay. Alright, now that's the corn stalks, which I've spelt correctly this time. Or stems, whichever one you want to call it. Right, the corn itself, the actual bit of corn, I'm going to use yellow ochre and cream. Let me sharpen the cream, my little stump. I do like to use them, my prismas up as much as I can. Okay, and sharpen the yellow ochre. Okay, so I'm going to put yellow ochre at the base and bring it up one side. And then we're going to blend that with the cream. And we've got a little bit of corn on the cob poking out. There we are. Now, I need some sort of very pale brown here, and I hadn't thought of that. So, let's go back with the same as we used for our soil down here, and use a little bit of light umber, and then we'll blend that. So, we'll use a little bit of light umber there. So the light umber, like that, and we'll blend that with the 30% French grey. Let's see how that works. And then 10%. Okay. Might need a little bit more of the light umber. Could have done that with just white, but there we go. And then let's just go straight into the 10%. Let's try that. Yeah. Okay. A bit more. I think I need a bit more brown. Alright, little corn on the cobs. So we used the, I would go with the light umber and the 10% French grey for those. Right, let me move these out of the way. I'm trying to keep them all together so I know where stuff is. I'm trying to be organised, folks. So we've done the corns, we've done the soil, we've done the stones. Let's do the see, I'm getting myself in a pickle now. Let's do the bushes. So I've got these colours, just so they're a little bit different to the ones we've already used. So I've got Prussian green, marine green, and then sap green light. Prussian green, marine green, and Throwing my pencils. And sap green light. Right, I've got those. So there's an indication on the bush of where a new bit joins it, if you get what I mean. So we're going to go in with our, got the wrong green there, it's a good job I checked. We're going to go in with our Prussian green, and I've missed the N off, and I'm going to go in little circular motions, and where they join I'm going to put that dark in, so in there like that. Then I'm going to go in with marine green, backtrack again, and as we get towards the top, we're going to add sap green light. I'm going to use that to bring that all together. Okay, we can go back in. So, Prussian green. A little bit of marine green. And then the sap green. That will help us blend it all. There we go. Should we do another one together? Yes, and I'll make sure that you're fully in camera. So taking the Prussian green, I'm going to go round here. Round our little pumpkin. Round this one. So that really helps that we've left that top bit light. So you can see that divide. Alright, then we're going to go in with our marine green. And again I'm going to try and make sure that I've got a gap for the lighter colour, so just so it helps us to divide the bushes out. There we go. Okay, and then we'll deepen up at the bottom. Go back in with our Prussian green. There we go. Let's do that, just this one round those leaves. So Prussian green, I think they're corn leaves, so we'll do those the same as we did. So there is actually quite a lot of green in this image. We'll divide that with the Prussian green. Now this is why I put the marine green in, so that we can differentiate between the different leaves and the different colours. So I'm going to put more marine green in on this one because we've got those corn leaves to do. And I really want them to show up. So we'll get around those with that marine green. I really want them to show up as a different green, so that will help us divide them. And then in with our sap green. And use that to blend it all through. So we should have, when we go to put this green in there, they should at least show up, I hope. We can just make that dark around those leaves if necessary. Alright, so that's how they're going to be done. Let me move that for a second. Okay, let's come out and have a look. So we've now got the picture is beginning to come to life. I have now got to finish the bushes, the stones. I'm going to colour. Oh no, I won't do that. I'll do that on camera. Yeah, so if I finish all the bits that we've just done, all the corn and everything I've just shown you, then we'll come back and hopefully I'll have a plan. It's just a bag that's doing my head in. So I was going to do it green, but it's so too much. There'll be too much green, so we'll see. All right, folks. Anyway, I'll stop wittering. I'll see you in a second. Okay, folks, this is how we're looking so far. Now, I know I've coloured these ready to go, but what I'm thinking is that we'll call it part 1, because this is going to be at least an hour, and then we've still got the trousers, the tights, the shoes. You know, we've got quite a few elements still to do, and let's not forget the background, although that'll be quick. So I think what I'm going to do is call it part 1, and I will continue colouring and release them sort of back to back as quickly as I possibly can, so that you're not waiting, if you're colouring along with me, that is. So until we meet again in, I don't know, a couple of hours, take really good care of yourselves, my friends, and I'll see you in a little while. Bye bye.